call this meeting to order at 5:31 PM on February 17th, 2016. First order of business, roll call and attendance. Dr. Kathleen Barlow, Matt Brown,
Here.
Joey Bryant,
Here.
John Deehan, Gary Epps, Jessica Evenson,
Here.
Dr. Serafini,
Here.
Trey Justin,
Here.
Robert Lane,
Here.
Richard Miller,
Here.
Dr. Todd Shiver, Renee Stiles, Patrick Stanton, Andrew Sullivan,
Here.
Zachary Zweiner. Okay, moving into agenda approval. Please take a moment to review the agenda. Is there a motion to approve? Jessica moves, is there a second? Matt Brown seconds. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Vote carries. Moving to section 4, approval of the minutes for February 10th, 2016. Please take a moment to review the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from February 10th, 2016? Jessica moves, is there a second? Mr. Lane seconds. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Vote carries. Minutes approved. Moving to section 5, reports. I don't have a report at this time.
I just have one. Yesterday's Business Finance Committee meeting, both approved supplemental funding request 1609 and 1891 committee for $10,000 and supplemental request 1610 from Pulse Magazine for $3,920.30. Both approved.
Only thing I have on there to add is just as a reminder, the next 2 weeks, we will not be meeting in this room. We'll be meeting in Black 137. It's on the agenda, you'll see here. It'll be sent out next week as a big bold reminder. There'll be some other meeting here, I don't know what, but if you show up here, you won't be there. So, next week we're in Black 137. I'll remind you again at the end of the meeting, but that's all that I have. I know. It was a block.
Moving into section 6, public comment. Is there any public comment at this time? Seeing none, moving to section 7, old business, supplemental funding request 1613, spring fashion show technical equipment in the amount of $43,075. Excuse me. Any discussion at this time, Mr. Lane?
So, I can't
Under circumstances, can, however, it be advised that you do not.
okay.
Just point of clarification, since you weren't here for the presentation, it would be standard that you would abstain from the vote. You can still partake in the discussion. However, it doesn't absolutely ban you from voting. However, it would be outside of normal procedures since you weren't here for the presentation.
I guess I want to inform the committee, I was able to meet with a few different groups across campus. Met with Sheree Wilson from downstairs, who's the manager of the CERC, or the Student Union Building, and I was unable to find funding through her. Me and Eddie looked through a variety of different funds and were unable to find any additional funds as well. So this is the last stop. So a decision needs to be made by this committee. Additional discussion. Dr. Barlow.
It seemed like a lot of the use for this equipment was going to be for the theater rather than one fashion show.
Someone would like to speak to that.
Yeah, I could say, I think they said that their fashion show is once a year, but the drama can use it all year round, but it'll be housed inside the drama facility.
Did they say the life expectancy of these, all the lighting equipment?
Yeah, 20 to 30 years.
So getting back to the drama portion of that, are they not contributing anything to this?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Just to answer answer that. We did ask the question, and what was shared is that it was requested to theater, but at the time, they were looking at, the challenges with the funding they had is that they would have to cut back from other pieces, so that at least at that time, they weren't able to allocate any money for it.
So I understand that a lot of this, purchasing this new equipment is for educational purposes as well. But I went to talk to my boss downstairs who helps to run a lot of events in a CERC, plan those events. And through some calculations and whatnot, he said that he could run a similar event, with a runway fashion show for roughly $1,400. So what the gentleman, sorry, he's singing said last week that it would be $3,000 or maybe more than $3,000 was incorrect by my boss's calculations. So just throw that out there. Then again, that wouldn't give them the right to operate the equipment. The equipment would be provided, and it would just give them the opportunity to do their fashion show.
Just for clarification, Richard, you're talking about that if they were to rent and use the facilities currently
Sure,
here
in
in
the
the
CERC,
CERC, right?
yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
So we're looking at the difference between investing in equipment that's gonna last for a number of years versus an annual expense to rent it over time.
Mr. Rapp, you have a comment?
Yeah. Were we at 56,000 left in our account?
Good enough for it.
In combination with the last two supplemental requests that were approved at last week's meeting, our current balance would stand right now at $55,550.24.
Motion does need to be made for this item.
I'd make a motion to approve 3,500 of item 1613.
Mr. Swiner's made a motion in the amount of $3,500. Is there a second?
Video online.
Seeing no second, motion dies. Mr. Ryan?
Zach, did you want to give some justification behind where you picked the $3,500? Because that may be why there was no second.
Just this equipment, like as the agencies go on, the equipment isn't promoting the current equipment that they do want to purchase at this full amount will be reducing value. So it seems reasonable to get one new piece of equipment each year instead of a bulk amount all at once.
Were you looking at the Verilight one early?
Yes.
Okay, because that would actually be $29.95 for one.
Correction.
Motion is dead.
Yeah.
Is there any way to pull up the sheet for their spending for the amount of what they want to do?
Okay. Is this what you're referring to? This is the breakdown.
Yeah, sure.
Um,
Mr. Lane?
Well, seeing as like we're already crunched on funds going into the last quarter, and the fact that like spending $2,900 towards this massive amount really won't do that much, I think that we could use that money elsewhere and for other requests, especially since they already have the money to do the fashion show this year anyways. It's not a question of that, it's a question of getting this equipment for them.
Thank you, Mr. Lane. Mr. Lane, are you insinuating a motion?
Well, I can't really make much.
Final check. Mr. Rapp?
I would like to make a motion to decline request 1613.
There's been a motion made. Is there a second? Mr. Brown seconds. Is there any discussion at this time? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Vote carries. Supplemental funding request 1613 has been declined. Moving into supplemental funding request 1614, Saab National Conference, the amount of $16,470. Discussion will break down. Going to address the gallery. Mr. Gambo, have you been able to receive any additional funding through sources you've met with?
Yeah, so, I believe I don't know if I talked to you about the College Marketing Managers, we were able to get 1,000 from them. And then also, this Monday, or Tuesday, I talked to the College of Business, and they confirmed 1,000 towards travel expenses.
Okay, thank you. And one additional item, you were requesting funds from Club, or you were requesting funds from Club Senate? Were you able to-
Yes, that's what other members are working on. We're delegating those tasks.
Okay. Mr. Miller?
How many people are going on this trip again?
Chloe? Mr. Lane? Yes.
Yosef, how many people on your like board of leadership? Are you talking about our executive board members?
Yes.
So we have a senator, of course, president, vice president, who is also takes care of financial affairs. Then we have a chief of staff, and then we do also have a chairperson for academic affairs. So that's around six.
And then you're the leadership consultant, G count.
I don't count myself.
I count.
Please keep discussion amongst the committee. Mr. Brown?
It looks like I did the total expenses divided by 20 people comes to about $823.
Thank you. Mr. Miller?
Can you take into account the $2,000 that he's already raised and take that off of the request? So, 14,470 instead.
723. So
I might add, that they take into account what they're requesting from their respective councils, whether it's Student Academic Senate, Club Senate, and accounting for that in your total amount of requested dollars through S&A.
So they have requested to academic.
They are working on making requests to Club Senate.
So is it $1,000 or $2,000? Do we have
That's the
that on
gallery.
there? How much are you requesting from, I know you said you're delegating it, but to like academic senate or club senate?
The maximum amount, I believe, is around 2,000.
$2,000.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
Club Senate. Yeah,
15, I know one is two.
3,500.
Total 3,500?
At least that's what's in the other.
So 3,500.
Mr. Miller?
What was our per person on average approval?
$363.44.
Seven.
$363.44. Mr. Epp?
300 how much?
$363. And that is only used as an estimate, not something we should be determining all of our project pay.
Yep.
Mr. Lane?
And then, we do not fund their advisors.
No, that'll be funded through separate funds.
which is the sum of all of those items except for the shuttle, the Bel Air shuttle.
Dr. Feeney's made a motion of $12,935. Is there a second?
I have a question. I'm
Yeah.
trying to
We
pull it,
can't-
so
No,
we
you can't. You can't.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
Dr. Feeney's made a motion in the amount of $12,935. Is there a second? Seeing none, motion dies. Ms. Stevenson.
So did you take off the $2,000 additional, did they have to get their funding from that number, and then the additional 35 that they can get from?
no, I just looked at their overall costs in the best case scenario, and
Just,
then.
they already funded 2,000, so the job is 10,000 there, and do 35.
Oh, okay.
And then from that, if they got the 3,500, it'll be like,
I wasn't funding any of their travel to SeaTac, so that
Gotcha.
would be kind of a little bit, but yeah, that's a good point, we should probably do this a little bit more.
Mr. Lane.
This is for a really good cause, but right now I'm kind of asking myself, is it really worth sending the entire club on a trip?
That's not the decision we can make up for ourselves.
I know, it's not, but we can decide to fund a portion of their students for the full cost for their original cost. Because, I don't know, this is my second year on S&A, and I was involved last year, and I've never seen a club send their entire club on a trip like this. So that's just kind of what I'm asking myself, is it really worth, it's just a trade-off. And it's, I don't know, I feel like it's something to consider.
Yes.
Discussion question. Okay, so we have the 16,470, just trying to catch up. Less the 2,000 they requested from Club Senate, less the 2,000 they got, 1,000 from the COB and the College of Arts and Humanities, and then another 1,500 is pending as well, so we're at 10,970. Alright, that's a good question. Joseph, about the room question, when will you guys find out about that?
We should find that out, pretty much once we raise the money. That's really the priority, is the hotel room and, registration, just because there are those deadlines, and hotel is by first come, first served.
And so the registration, you get the cheaper amount if it's done before, is it the end of next week?
Yes, so the
That's when it's end of
26th.
next week. And so, and then that's the hotel rate for 2 people in a room, but 4 people is pretty much, you should chop that number just right in half.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Any additional discussion at this time?
I wanted to say.
You haven't finished his number.
Okay. Okay, so the number I've come to is 8,835, start from the top with the 16,470, less 2,000, 1,000 from each of the colleges, less the other 2,000, Club Senate, less 1,500, that gives us 10,970. I'm saying hopefully they'll be able to get 4 people in a room. I don't see why they wouldn't, pull out beds, roll away beds, couches, whatever. Less 1635, less 500 for the early registration fee, gets down to 8835. Divide that by 20 students, you're at $441 a student, which is pretty reasonable. I think it's a good cause, it's a good conference, so I'd like to make a motion to fund supplemental funding request 1614 for the SAB National Conference in the amount of $8,835.
There's been a motion made by Mr. Dehan in the amount of $8,835. Is there a second? Mr. Epps seconds. Any discussion at this time? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Vote carries. Supplemental funding request 1614 is approved in the amount of $8,835.
With one exception.
With one abstention. Thank you. Moving into section 8, new business, supplemental funding request 1615, Baton F. Martin Memorial in the amount of $3,070, excuse me. Did I mispronounce that, Mr. Ross?
Good evening, everyone. Hey, thanks for having us here. My name's Hauke Harps.
And I'm Brian Bender.
And we're currently on a team here that we put together this year, hopefully be sending, with your support, a team of 7 cadets down to White Sands Missile Range in New Mexico to conduct the Baton Death March Memorial. Next slide here. Here's a quick agenda of what we'll go through. Get right into it. All right, here's some quick history. World War II, down in Baton, prisoners were, American soldiers were taken prisoners and were forced to hike a long ways up the Baton Peninsula. Most soldiers didn't survive. It was a pretty brutal event. When the general that put this on was finally charged, he was charged with 43 counts of crimes against humanity. So some pictures down here. Pretty atrocious piece of our history, but one that's oftentimes lost and a lot of people are aware of. If you can go ahead and hit the next slide here. As a result of this, they created the Baton Memorial Death March. Here's just a quick rundown of what we're doing. This has been in the process for about since December. We've been talking about this. Just a quick mission of what we're doing, building this Creed Corps for our cadets, getting them a little more involved with the university, a little more extracurricular stuff other than the standard cadet things that they do from day-to-day basis. We selected our team, kind of some phases we're going through here. We selected our team, we're going through registration, and then we're going through our funding requests right now. We're then going to go on our execution phase. We're going to leave here, we're going to use a GSA vehicle so we don't have to pay money to get over to SeaTac. Once we get down to New Mexico, though, we will be renting a vehicle to get to White Sands Missile Range. So we're saving some costs up front there, trying to do what we can on our end. Then when we get back, of course, we will be doing our report backs as necessary. So you can kind of see a quick map here. We're hoping to fly into El Paso, Texas, and then White Sands Missile Range is up there, about 40, 50 miles away. So you can see we're going to be pretty much in the middle of the desert. So it'll be fun. So next slide, please. Here's our team we selected. In January, the team, in order to be on the team, they had to do a 12-mile ruck march. So that means 35 pounds with all your equipment. It was January in the snow, so the cadets trudged through the snow and had to complete it in less than 3 hours. So here's our team. I'm currently spearheading the team. Then we have Brian Bender here, Tyler Jude. They're both MS4s with me. We have some MS3s who are in their junior year, Nicholas Jacobus, Joey Knight, and then we have another MS3, Jacob Ferris, and then an MS2. All these cadets that are on this team here have been to Ranger Challenge competitions. Some have competed multiple times, so I have full faith that everyone's going to be able to grind it out and complete this ruck march and not embarrass the university. So, next slide, please. Here's kind of what it's kind of blurry up at the top what the route looks like. We start down here at that's the base right there. Kind of starting off to the right here, you can follow. It's pretty long ways around this mountain, lots of incline. Right here you can see the elevation gain over the course. So it's 27 miles in total, I believe, around the mountain. When you're coming back, you go through really deep sand. They call it the sand pit, sand trap, and then you finally make it back into White Sands base there. From what I've heard, it takes about 6 hours to complete. If you're a light team, that means you're not carrying anything. We're going to be a heavy team carrying 35-pound rucksacks, so hopefully 9 hours, something like that is what it'll take for us to complete. So we'll be doing a lot of walking. So as a part of our training, we've had some pretty long rucks Fridays. The guys are getting up really early to step off. Some of our rucks we've stepped off at 4:30 in the morning to account for the long distances that we've been doing, and then still getting people to their 8 o'clock classes. So they've really been putting in a lot of work, sacrificing sleep to train up for this. Friday, we're incorporating guilds as well, so Friday Monash Dash early in the morning. We'll be meeting at Peterson Hall at 5 if anyone's interested, join us. We'll climb up the mud there on the hill. All right, now we got all the fluffy stuff out of the way. Let's talk some turkey. Here's what we're looking at. This is an expense breakdown that we made when we were doing the course of action brief to our commander. Now, this being said here, the College of Education and Professional Studies is fronting the money for us, and in order for them to do that, they are doing all their own booking, all their own flight, rooms, all that. So what is here right now might not completely accurately reflect what the college chooses to do. But this is the estimate that I gave them, what we want to work with, and they said they can work within those parameters. Seeing it broken down here, we have our rooms for the cadets. We are taking 5 team members. There's 5 people on a team, and then we're taking 2 as individuals. The reason we're doing this is so we can get full funding from Academic Senate. We're having 7 people, so it's just a formality. We'll have 5 people that are officially on the team, and then 2 that are registered as individuals, and they'll be marching along with us. Have our rooms, flights to get down there, vehicle rental. We do have a cadre counterpart that's going with us, so we'll have someone to drive the vehicle, which is important because I don't think none of us are 25 yet, and then I don't think anyone wants to be driving after walking 27 miles in the desert. So that's important there. Registration here, $500 for the team. The 2 individuals will cost $95 a person. We factored in the food for the cadets. This is something that can be taken out. People still manage to pay for their food, on a day-to-day basis. It's just something we wanted to throw in there to show what the total expense is. So the total cost that we have here is $6,570. Getting the max amount from Club Senate would subtract that by $2,000, then $1,500 from the Student Academic Senate. So what we're left with is $3,000 and $3,071. So that is what we are hoping to get from services and activities. It's the remaining balance that would be left, and it would be greatly appreciated if we could get that covered. There's one more slide. Questions?
Are there any questions at this time?
I didn't hear quite what you said about the SEPS support for it.
Yeah.
Doing any arrangements?
Yeah, they're currently, I met with them about a month ago now, and I've been back and forth with them on the phone. They're still in the process of getting everything booked as far as our flights are. I think they want to sit down with me just to make sure that they get all the registration correct because of when you register it, you select if you want to be a heavy team or a light team, if you're a military team or whatnot. So they were confused on that, but I think flights and rooms are coming along.
Occasionally, students will reach out to their departments, and the departments will fund the front up for the money so that students don't have to go out of pocket immediately. That's what these guys did. Any additional questions? Dr. Feeney?
What are the dates that you're leaving and returning? Sorry if I missed that.
Yeah, we were planning on, the initial plan was to leave on the 19th, compete on the 20th, and come back on the 21st. However, that is currently up in the air for the college to decide because they have their process of whatever they can book that as far as transportation is. So we kind of gave them our left and right limit there. So they might have us leave on the 18th. That's not for sure yet.
It looks like, correct me if I'm wrong, that there were 5 rooms for the group. Can you explain the breakdown a little bit, because I know it'll come up next week during discussion.
Okay. As far as the breakdown, let me think back to exactly how we did this. We do have females on the team, so policies. If we have a female, they need their own room. Then we have a cadre member that probably doesn't want to be with cadets, and then the rest of the guys, we're used to being in pretty close quarters. We can let them in the other 3 rooms. If not, if we need to cut a room, I'm sure no one's opposed to that. Room's better than some other rooms. So.
Did you mention a faculty attending?
What's that?
Did you mention a faculty
was originally, there's a mistake up there, it's one cadre now that we're sending. If there is, I don't know how if the department could work it, if we weren't able to get funding for that cadre member, we might be able to get something through the department, but they're pretty strapped for cash.
The cadre member is not a student.
No, cadre is, he's a major, so.
Any additional questions at this time? Seeing none, thank you, we'll go on this next week.
Okay, thank you, appreciate it.
Moving into supplemental funding request 1616 project semicolon in the amount of $1,000.
So hi everybody, I'm Franco Zamora. I'm president of a club on campus called Active Minds. We are part of a national organization. We're one chapter of a national organization of other similar clubs. And our goal is to eradicate the stigma on mental illness, to get students to start discussions on that and to educate students on what mental illness is so that there's not that stigma attached to it later on. In conjunction with the Wellness Center, we are looking to put on this project, Semicolon Speech, bringing the creator of the Semicolon project, which I'll explain, to Central. And so we're looking to get some funding from you for that speaker. So Project Semicolon is it's a suicide awareness campaign started by Amy Lowell. And it's centered around this concept of a semicolon is used when an author could have ended a sentence, but didn't, with the idea that it's a metaphor for a person's life. So continuing on, even with like thoughts of suicide, and it's to raise awareness for people who have suicidal thoughts or who have committed or tried to commit suicide. With that metaphor extending to those people. And the creator of this project speaks about suicide awareness and mental health awareness. So can you go on to the next slide? Yeah, there you go. So that's a little bit about Amy Poole, the founder of the Semicolon Project, which is a nonprofit organization, nonprofit movement, sorry. Like I said, about mental illness, suicide awareness, addiction, self-injury, with all those good messages there. Can you go on to the next slide? So this is important for Central especially. We got some figures there. These ones are actually about college students in general with anxiety, depression, and mental illness rising. You can see that it's pretty high. And then, can you go to the next slide? And then these stats are about Central students specifically. As you can see, 83% of Central students felt overwhelmed. 42% of students felt like they were hopeless, and 33% of students reported feeling so depressed that it was difficult to function. These are from 2014. So we feel there's a pretty big need for this sort of speaking event here on the Central campus. And that's kind of why Active Minds exists in the first place. So can you go to the next slide? So we have the contract to bring Amy Poole already, and we have the date set already. So it's going to be March 8th. But that's the quick schedule of events for the day. There's a lunch with Amy. There's a roundtable discussion with student leaders to have the opportunity to talk to her. And then there's a open presentation in the CERC, in the theater at 7 on that day. And that'll be free. So, can you go to the next slide? And then that's the budget that we've got there. It looks like that's correct. And we have that 2775 already funded. So we're looking for that extra $1,000. And then I don't know if there's another slide.
Are there any questions at this time? Mr. Nelson?
The is that correct, the total right there? It was LC 75.
No, the last one at the bottom there should be, 275 for KCW.
Okay.
Mr. Lane,
Give me a motion to vote on this.
it's a motion.
I motion to vote on supplemental funding request 1616.
When? On the agenda.
Right now.
Okay. Mr. Lane has made a motion to vote on supplemental funding request 1616. Is there a second? Mr. Miller seconds. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Vote carries. Supplemental funding request is now on the table for vote. Mr. Brown.
For clarification for the minutes, since we're recording this for Vinay, so she can get this later, the motion is to put that on immediately after the question and answer portion of this, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Other additional questions?
I have a question. I've seen a fair amount of people with the semicolon tattoo. Is that what that means?
Mr. Miller?
How did you come up with those figures? Was that taken through a survey on campus stuff?
Those were taken through surveys through wellness, so.
Yeah,
Hi everybody, I'm Doug Fulham, the advisor for Active Minds. I'm also a health educator in our wellness center. And I brought with us, this is our 2014 National College Health Assessment. This is an assessment we do each year on our campus to benchmark where we are at compared to national data, as well as to identify where we are at and where our trends are from year to year. And so that's what numbers are coming from.
Mr. Bryan?
the other numbers that were up there were national numbers from across, the first ones up there, from the ACHA were national norms.
Okay.
Yeah, this one's, so that one's across the nation, the stats, the other one is from Central Students specifically.
Any additional questions or comments at this time? Is there a motion? Mr. Miller?
Motion funding, supplemental funding request 1616 in the full amount of $1,000.
Mr. Lane has made a motion of $1,000 for supplemental funding request 1616. Is there a second? Mr. Miller seconds. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Supplemental funding request 1616 is approved in $1,000. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving into section 9, other business communications received. I've not received any communications. Moving to section 10, public comment, second call. Any public comment at this time? Brian?
Just as a reminder, we're in Blackhall next week, not here. Please make sure it'll be bold on the email next week, but do not show up here. It's actually the next 2 weeks.
And then I have one announcement to make for anybody that's interested and is going to be either a junior or a sophomore this year. Student government candidate info session is tomorrow night at 7 in Circuit. You can let your friends know if they're interested in running. I think it's a great position. I had one of the positions last year. I had really great time. John can speak to that. Rob can speak to that.
It's great.
But anybody that's any additional public comment? Seeing none, moving into adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn? Mr. Miller,
So moved.
is there a second? Ms. Stevenson seconds. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Vote carries. This meeting is adjourned at 6:12 p.m. on February 17th, 2016. Thank you very much.
That's what he said.
I was
Hey, you
like-
made it.
I was so tired. I was like, I need something in my system, so I finally got a chicken and it took longer than I thought. I had to eat it.
At least he didn't come in with the mixture.
Do you see what he values us at? We're worth $1.
Stanton would have probably taken a bite, but he's not.
Yeah.
Here.